Meghan Markle's Netflix implosion is the worst royal family moment ever. If you've heard the headline, you ought to read the entire story. I want you to pay close attention to the very end so that you leave with facts rather than noise. The warning is that we will investigate that allegation in a manner akin to a myth buster, analyzing what actually happened on Netflix and how it differs from real-life royal crises. First, it's commonly overlooked that the Netflix documentary series, Harry and Meghan, shattered all prior records for documentary premieres when it began in December 2022. The implosion's opposite is that. In the language of flowing, it was a thunderclap. There have been hiccups, of course. Meghan's animated movie Pearl was delayed because Netflix adjusted their schedule in 2022. This problem reappeared in April after a British novelist claimed months later that the concept was identical to her own works. Cancelled? It's accurate. Evidence of total collapse? Not at all. Let's proceed to 2025. Meghan launched the Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, which highlighted cooking, entertaining, and living a simple life in California. You might even see brand new ads for the upcoming season. This year saw the premiere of Season 1, and August 26 saw the release of Season 2. That is a continuous creation rather than an implosion. And the big one, on August 11, Archewell and Netflix secured a new first-look deal. You don't immediately examine the house if it has collapsed. It shows that the streamer is still eager to hear their initial thoughts. Next is the pushback. Some critics claim that the lifestyle program isn't as well liked as the docuseries, which makes sense considering the different genre, target demographic, and expectations. A straightforward culinary series won't have the same impact as a candid documentary. That is a change in pace rather than a sign of impending catastrophe. Remember that when the documentary was released, Netflix made history. Where did the ominous word implosion come from? Frequently by combining three components: one abandoned project, Pearl, a lifestyle series with a more reserved audience and conversation, and a lot of dramatic framing on the internet. When combined, they might seem like a crash, but when more details are provided, they seem like a normal manufacturing process with continual contract renewals, successes, and failures. Is this the lowest point in the history of the royal family? Is an additional query raised by the headline. In this case, scale is crucial. The abdication crisis of 1936, when Edward VIII's abdication upset the monarchy, is comparable to the abrupt swings. That is a constitutional earthquake rather than a content wobble. For example, Princess Diana's global grief in 1997 was a turning point that altered public opinion of the royal institution. Again, that is an influence on a historical scale, not a rating week. When everything is considered, the claim is untrue. Our modern media journey includes a well-liked documentary debut, a cancelled children's program, a long-term partnership with Netflix, and an increasingly popular lifestyle series. That story is jumbled rather than melting. If someone asks you if you've lived this long, which I hope you have, you may just restate this lesson. The slate shows one cancelled title, the business side shows a renewed contract, the schedule shows fresh seasons and coverage, and the numbers show a noteworthy documentary success. It is neither an implosion nor the worst royal moment ever, by any means. There is a natural rhythm to television, some hits, some misses, etc. Stay tuned to the very end to learn how to interpret the next wave of headlines. Check to see if the article references a credible source or an official Netflix news release. Look for specific dates, such as launch dates or notice of renewal, to see if the comparison makes sense. A computer error cannot take the place of a national day of mourning or an abdication. That would be equivalent to comparing Big Ben to a kitchen timer. I am grateful that you persisted to the very end. Click like, forward this to a friend who is experiencing implosion on their feed.